Krakow is the most beautiful city in Poland, the main part of which is the historical center, which has preserved the original medieval layout and many architectural monuments, is included in the UNESCO World Heritage List and was once surrounded by fortified walls, from which only a small area at the Florence Gate remains now. Make sure that you are subscribed now. Let's travel the world together. Krakow is literally saturated with history that took place on its streets and squares throughout the Middle Ages. The symbol of the city is the Wawel hill with the royal castle, which remembers the heyday of the Commonwealth and is of great importance for the entire Polish nation. Also located in Krakow are several other iconic attractions. The medieval main market square, one of the largest market squares in Europe, with the Gothic Church of the Blessed Virgin Mary, which is considered one of the most important religious buildings in Poland. The Jagiellonian University, the country's oldest educational institution, the Jewish quarter of Kazimierz, and many old churches. St. Mary's Church is a symbol of Krakow, a temple covered with legends. First, a Romanesque church founded by Bishop Iwo Odrowonj stood on its side, and the second church built here instead of the Romanesque church was destroyed by the Batu horde in 1241. About the fact that the third, current church, was built of handmade bricks in 14th, 15th centuries. This is an unusual church. From the main body, from the main volume, two Gothic towers stretch upwards, and one of them is higher than the other. And here is the legend behind that. The legend says that the construction of this temple was led by two families. They were at enmity with each other, fought for leadership, for the right to be called the main and in fact the only builders of the church. The work lasted a long time, hostility did not contribute to success, and then the heads of the families nevertheless decided to unite by marrying their children. One family had a daughter and the other had a son. An agreement was made. The newly mated spouses would manage the construction at each tower separately. The wife would build one and the husband the other, and that family whose tower would be higher and more beautiful would win the dispute and ultimately receive superiority in the new union. As a result, the family that married their daughter won the dispute. Its tower, northern, turned out to be 20 meters higher than the southern one, but this no longer mattered. The spouses fell in love with each other even more, and their families, having completed a common great work, were no longer The huge main square was staked out for the city. When Krakow received its city charter based on Magdeburg law in 1257, it was set up at the intersection of ancient trading routes on the plan of a square with each side slightly exceeding 200 meters. The name Ring or Market Square, deriving from the German word Ring, was first used around 1300, and the current one, Rynek Główny, main market square, has only been in the use since the end of the 19th century. The main square is very large and yet quiet. This is just breathtaking place. A lot of tourists find this atmosphere just outstanding. This is a remarkably well-preserved piece of living history, still an active part of the city life throughout the day and night. This modern center was designed to satisfy all the basic needs of the population connected to the functioning of the city, trade, and economic life. And finally, the spiritual dimension. It was also the place where executions and punishments were carried out. The rostrum for the executioner was put between St. Mary's and Grey House, and the whipping post where criminals could not only be publicly lashed but also branded, stood at the mouth of Sławkowska Street. A showcase of the city, a pearl of Renaissance architecture, the oldest shopping center in Krakow, the Cloth Hall is one of the most important historical buildings in Krakow. The Cloth Hall was one of the most important institutions of the city. It was there that the trade was concentrated. The first sukiennica, which was built in the 13th century when Krakow was granted city rights, were two rows of stone stalls, forming a street in the middle of the market square. Both ends were closed with bars at night to keep thieves away. The brick-roofed Cloth Hall was built in the 14th century. Their traces in the form of ogival arcades on the sides are still visible today. Trade in the sukiennica was an important source of income for the city. According to the royal privilege, visiting cloth merchants could sell their goods only in this place. No wonder that when the building was destroyed by fire in 1555, its reconstruction was vigorously undertaken. The best architects, artists, and craftsmen worked on it. Among them, many Italians who came to Poland in the footsteps of Queen Bona, the wife of King Sigismund I the Old from Italy. The renovated Cloth Hall gained, amongst others, a long attic with a decorative frieze and gargouilles, grotesque, stylized human heads, designed by the outstanding Italian sculptor Santi Gucci. Kraków Planty, in Polish Planty Krakowskie, is a city park located in Krakow. The park is a natural boundary, within which is the Old Town. The area of the park is 21 hectares. Its circular length is 4 kilometers. The park was founded in 1822-1830 on the territories near the former fortifications that surrounded the Old Town. The decision to create city gardens was made in 1820, when it was planned to recultivate land plots on the site of the ruins of the city, was destroyed at the beginning of the 19th century. This action among the locals became known as plantacja, plantation. From these words, the name of the park Planty subsequently arose. As the main initiator of the arrangement of the park on the ruins of the destroyed city walls and the author of its project was the Krakow architect, professor at the Jagiellonian University, Felix Radwanski. In 1826, after the death of Felix Radwanski, he was engaged in the construction of the park. Florence Drojewski, who established a foundations in 1830, intended to maintain the park. The green and well-groomed part of the Vistula embankment is located in the area of Wawel Castle at the city center on both sides of the river. From the side of the castle, it is a large park area. In other places, the embankment is a narrow green lawn along the slope of the river, with a footpath with benches laid along it. This place is called the Vistula Boulevards. In warm sunny weather, locals like to walk here and even sunbath. By the way, this is the second largest green area in the center of Krakow, after the Kraków Planty Park. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, hydraulic structures along the banks of the Vistula River protected Krakow from floods. At present, the boulevards are a park area and a place of recreation. Hydraulic structures consist mainly of high and longitudinal retaining walls that limit the channel of the Vistula. In the upper part of the hydraulic structures, there are various slopes of the river and walking paths lined with trees. Opened on September 30th, 2010, the Father Bernatek Footbridge. Okładka ojca Bernatka straddles the Vistula River just south of the center, linking the districts Kazimierz and Podgórze, where several road bridges had stood in its place before, the last being dismantled way back in 1925. The leaf-shaped 130-meter structure accommodates both pedestrians and cyclists, with its twin walkway design by local architect Andrzej Getter. Be it a romantic walk or a pub crawl adventure, Father Bernatek Footbridge will serve you well, and since it's a pedestrian-specific route, you don't have to worry about cars, making it extra safe, especially when in the middle of the fun night. Even if you are not interested in the bridge itself, knowing where it is very practical. It will help you flow between tourist centers of Krakow much smoother than using other routes.